The real reason that you eat super clean and super healthy, you're the health nut out of all of your friends, but you're the one with all of the health issues, 95% of the time, you are actually the most malnourished person in the room. I am saying this having worked with hundreds and hundreds of women specifically that track their macros. They are doing everything right on paper. They have cut out gluten, cut out dairy, cut out sugar. They've done Whole30, AIP, elimination diet. Oh, I was vegetarian for 5 years. I was vegan for 10 years. I was gluten-free for 10 years. I was like all of these very strict protocols. And what you need to keep in mind is that anytime you cut out anything, any food, you are cutting out nutrients. I was dairy-free for years. Let me tell you, where was I getting my calcium from? Calcium is a macro mineral, right? Calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, those are your macro minerals. You need those minerals in the largest quantity. When you don't have enough calcium, it obviously is linked to osteoporosis. So I think a lot of these dairy-free girlies are in for a rude awakening when they're 65 and they break a hip. When most people eliminate something like dairy, they're not thinking to themselves, okay, well, where else can I get calcium? Sardines are a really good source, which is why I talk about sardines all the time on my page, because the fish with bones in it are a great source of calcium, but most people are not eating those regularly enough to get enough calcium. If you look at cultures like Japan, a lot of Asian countries historically did not consume dairy, but they eat salmon for breakfast with rice. They're not eating a standard American breakfast. Are you eating salmon with bones in it for breakfast? Probably not. I'm gluten-free to this day because I just feel so much better without it. And I think there's room for bio-individuality. Some of us don't feel good with gluten. Some of us don't feel good with dairy. But you still have to ask the question anytime you pull something out, where else am I going to get these nutrients? To me, gluten and gluten-containing grains are not a nutrient-dense food, generally speaking, if you live in the United States. But you are cutting out fiber and you are cutting out carbs when you cut out bread and pasta, right? So you need to find another source for that. Are you going to eat more sweet potatoes? Are you going to eat more squash? Are you going to eat more berries, apples? What are you going to eat to replace that carb source? If you cut out fish because you heard online that fish is full of heavy metals and don't eat it. Well, girl, you just created an omega-3 deficiency and now you're inflamed. You need omega-3 for your brain to function properly. It's one of the few things that crosses the blood-brain barrier. When you're omega-3 deficient, you are chronically and systemically inflamed. We know what is a common denominator of just about all chronic illnesses, chronic systemic inflammation. If you are omega-3 deficient, which most people are, and then you cut out fish because I don't want to get all of those heavy metals, which to me, if you're consuming fish that are low on the food chain, like salmon, sardines, cod, and you're getting enough minerals so you can actually remove those heavy metals from your system, because if you're a human being living on planet Earth, you're going to get exposed to heavy metals. There's heavy metals in the Earth's crust. If you cut out fish, did you think about where else you're going to get omega-3? Because omega-3 isn't as bioavailable in plant-based sources. You can slam chia pudding and flaxseed. It's not the same thing. Years ago when I was vegan, because I watched a documentary on YouTube called What the Health, and I felt so convicted that no one should eat meat and meat's a carcinogen. Netflix is propaganda and no one should be getting health advice off of Netflix, by the way. Looking back, I was basically on an all-carb, very low-protein diet. Beans, lentils, legumes, hummus. These are carb sources that happen to have a little bit of protein. I actually can't think of a worse diet for someone with raging insulin resistance, which is what I had, which was contributing to acne, hair loss, extremely painful periods, PMDD symptoms before my period where I did not, mental health, horrible, anxiety, horrible, depression, horrible the week before my period. But I was so healthy, right? Went vegan, went gluten-free, went dairy-free, did the elimination diets, and I'm not saying that's all bad. I'm not saying it's always bad if you cut out foods, because I've had to go through seasons where I've had to remove certain things like gluten. When I had candida overgrowth, I had to go through a season where I had to remove certain things. But at the end of the day, you always have to ask, if I'm cutting something out, where else am I getting these nutrients? The people at the highest risk of nutritional deficiencies are chronic dieters, people with a lot of food allergies, so they have to remove a lot of things, and people who are cutting out entire food groups. And riddle me this, why is it that the stricter we get with cutting out foods, we perceive that as healthier, when actually these are the people that are the most malnourished out of anyone?